Have you ever stopped to think about what your dining table really represents? Surely you see it as a place to eat, a place to support everyday objects, a common piece of furniture among many others. But what if I told you it's much more than that? Your table carries a silent energy that spreads throughout your home, a vibration that shapes, without you even realizing it, the flow of prosperity that enters and remains in your space. It can open the doors to invisible blessings, or it can be blocking every day what you've been asking the universe for. And all of this because of what's on it. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 simple yet incredibly powerful objects that can transform your table into a true magnet for abundance. And I'll also show you some things you need to avoid at all costs if you want to keep the vibrational flow of your home clean, light, and prosperous. Trust me, once you understand what's behind this, you'll never look at your table the same way again. Maybe you've never stopped to reflect, but the table is the place where the energy of your life is anchored. It's where you sit with those you love, where you speak, remain silent, chew, breathe, where you share bread, and often your worries. It's there that you repeat patterns without realizing it. It's there that you vibrate what you truly believe. It's there that you activate or cancel the signal the field is picking up. What if this energy is fragmented, confused, contaminated? The answer is simple. The field interprets it as resistance, and the flow of abundance slows. Have you ever felt trapped inside your own house, feeling like things aren't moving? That no matter what you do, something gets stuck? Maybe the problem isn't in your actions or in your faith, but it's about how your environment is vibrating. And the table, that seemingly harmless object, may be emitting a signal of scarcity every day, even if you're trying to vibrate prosperity. That's why this video is so important, because you'll understand in depth how adjusting small details in your space can completely transform the reality you're manifesting. And we're not talking about magic, superstition, or empty rituals. We're talking about frequency, about how the universe interprets what you emit in the invisible, and what you place on your table is talking to the field all the time. Some people feel the blockage but don't know where it comes from. They clean the house, say prayers, light candles, claim they trust the process, but they still have a table that vibrates the opposite, cluttered, cold, unintentional, loaded with objects that represent nothing, or worse, that represent exactly what's impeding the flow of energy. Maybe you're asking for abundance, but the table is screaming scarcity. Maybe you want comfort, but the table is emitting haste, disorder, tension. And the universe, which doesn't respond to words but to frequencies, is simply respecting what it senses coming from you. This is where everything changes, because when you understand the symbolic power of what's on your table, you begin to use your space as an ally. You transform your home into a fertile field. You transform your table into an altar. And that's what this video is about. You will discover 5 simple objects, but with profound vibrational value, that when positioned correctly on your table, activate the frequency of abundance. 5 elements that transform the ordinary into the sacred, the ordinary into a portal, the routine into manifestation. And you won't just know what they are, you will understand why they work. You will feel the difference in your body. And from today on, every time you sit at your table, you will know that it is not just a place to eat, it is where your reality is being shaped. It is there that the field receives your signal. It is there that the invisible becomes an answer. It is there that your vibration is anchored or lost. So please, stay with me until the end. Because this knowledge is not just informative, it is transformative. And it could be the missing detail that unlocks what has been trying to reach you for so long. The house already knows, the table already feels, the field is already listening. The question is, are you ready to align all of this with what you wish to receive? So let's go together. Because the first object that should never leave your table could be the key the universe has been waiting for to unlock the answer. The first object that should never leave your table is bread. Yes, a simple loaf of bread, but believe me, nothing about it is simple. Since time immemorial, bread has represented much more than nourishment. It is the symbol of spiritual provision, of silent, abundance of sustenance that comes from the invisible. Bread speaks clearly to the field. It says, here is abundance. It vibrates. We are supplied. We are at peace. It communicates, abundance is present, even when the eyes cannot see. You don't have to believe this with your mind. The field already knows. Bread is an ancient symbol of the sacred exchange between heaven and earth, between the spiritual and the material, between the invisible and the visible. When you place a loaf of bread on your table, with awareness you are saying to the universe, here is space to receive. Here, I already recognize abundance before it fully manifests. And this action, so simple, activates the language of the field, because bread is not a decoration. It is an energetic anchor, a vibration that says, we trust. We are grateful. We have already received. What does bread represent? It represents trust in the invisible flow of life, because no one plants wheat and harvests bread in the same day. But when you see the bread ready, it brings with it the entire invisible chain of transformation. The seed, the earth, time, the fire, the weight. So it is with your manifestation. The bread is a vibrational reminder what you planted in the field is already being prepared, even if you don't see it yet, even if the answer hasn't arrived. The bread vibrates with certainty. Abundance is on its way. And now, breathe calmly. Close your eyes if you can. Visualize your table. Imagine a golden loaf of bread, fresh from the oven, resting on a simple plate. Smell the aroma. See the lightness of the steam rising, as if conversing with the sky. Feel this bread as a symbol, as a silent declaration of your new frequency. The table begins to radiate something different. Do you notice? It no longer vibrates with haste. It no longer vibrates with absence. It no longer vibrates with anxiety. It begins to emit presence. It begins to say, I already have. And in that instant, the field listens, and it begins to move. The bread isn't magical, but the frequency it activates is. And it doesn't matter if you have a lot or a little at home. Even a small piece, even a simple loaf when placed with intention, becomes a code of vibrational reception. Most people ask for abundance, but vibrate absence. Put bills, papers, worries, cell phones, distractions on the table, and the field interprets this as the priority is the problem. But when you place a loaf of bread, you communicate the priority now is to trust. It's not about religion. It's not about belief. It's about energetic language. The bread carries in its form and essence an ancient message that the field understands without words. I feed on the certainty that everything is already coming. And the field, which doesn't respond to effort or desperation, responds with synchronicity. You begin to notice small signs, an unexpected invitation, a value that enters unexpectedly, a feeling of lightness in the air, a person offering something without you even asking. Everything begins to move because you began to vibrate coherence, and the bread was the beginning. Now look at your table. Is it clean? Is it present? Or is it cluttered with distractions? Remove the excess. Remove what no longer vibrates. Make space for the bread. And when you place it with awareness, with gratitude, with intention. No need to say anything. No need to perform a complex ritual. The vibration is enough, and your table will begin to become what it was always meant to be. An altar of abundance, a mirror of your field, a bridge between you and what is coming. And if today you felt that prosperity was blocked, perhaps it was just a matter of realignment, and the bread was the first step. From now on, you are no longer searching. You are preparing the space to receive, and that changes everything, because the field doesn't give to those who seek in a hurry. It gives to those who sustain the vibration of what already is. And your table, now, is saying this to the universe. We are already experiencing abundance. The second object that transforms your table into a field of silent abundance is fruit, but not just any fruit. Fresh fruit, vivid, colorful, fruit that exudes vitality. Have you ever noticed how a well-filled fruit bowl changes the atmosphere of a home? It's not just appearance, it's a vibrational field. Fruit carries the energy of expanding life, of the cycle that renews itself, of the sweetness of creation. When you place fruit on the table, the field reads it as a direct sign of prosperity in motion, because fruit is a symbol of the harvest. And those who harvest have already sown, have already trusted, have already been answered. The fruits say to the field, I acknowledge what has blossomed. I honor the fruits of my vibration. Even if you don't yet see concrete fruits in your life, the mere presence of the fruits on the table is an act of symbolic activation. It's as if you're saying, I already taste what I asked for us even before I receive it. And this vibrational anticipation generates collapse. The fruits radiate visual, tactile, and olfactory abundance. They invoke pleasure and gratitude before they arrive. You don't wait to give thanks. You give thanks now. And the field understands. Visualize. On your table, a simple bowl. Inside, a variety of fruits: apples, grapes, bananas, oranges, vibrant colors, rounded shapes, textures that seem to speak to you. Now feel. Each fruit is a dimension of abundance. The apple represents protection and wisdom. The grape activates pleasure and joy. The banana evokes nourishment and flow. The orange symbolizes energy, vitality, and creativity. All this without you saying a word. The field understands, because fruits are not just food. They are symbolic messages of life flowing. If your table has fruit, it is telling the universe, here the harvest has already begun. And that is why so many people feel the difference when keeping a lively fruit bowl in the center of their home. The field does not respond to symbolic scarcity. It responds to the signal of presence, abundance, renewal. And fruits do exactly that. They renew the frequency of your table. Now come with me to the third object, perhaps the most subtle, but one of the most powerful. Flowers. Flowers don't just decorate, they purify, they uplift, they translate the invisible. Have you ever noticed how a simple bouquet can change the mood of an entire room? Flowers are frequency transmitters. Each color, each species, each scent carries a code. And when placed on the table, they speak directly to the field about what you are ready to sustain. It's not about external beauty. It's about an energetic message. Flowers transmit the vibration you wish to anchor. And more than that, they absorb what needs to be cleared. They are living vibrational filters. They arrive charged with life and slowly wither. But what they did in that time was capture. They absorbed unspoken thoughts, hidden fears, silent resentments, and they gave it all back to earth. So you wouldn't have to carry it anymore. Placing flowers on the table is declaring, here the vibration is renewed. Here beauty is sacred. Here silence blooms. And the field listens. Feel with me. You wake up in the morning, you go to your desk. There are the flowers. Simple, alive, silent. But as you look at them, something in you changes. Anxiety slows, your heart opens, your breathing deepens. You are in presence, and that is what activates the collapse. You don't need to do more, you need to be more. And the flowers teach you this every day. Want yellow flowers? They vibrate financial stability. Want white flowers? They cleanse. Want red flowers? They activate your magnetism. You choose the frequency, you set the tone, and the table responds. Now realize you already have bread, which represents trust and sustenance. You have fruit, which vibrates with harvest and expansion. And now flowers, which purify, balance, and radiate silent beauty. Your table is becoming a field, an altar, a vortex, an antenna. Do you feel it? Feel how the vibration is changing. Just imagining it. This is real. This is the field responding. But it only begins when you decide to honor the symbols. They are not superstition. They are energetic language. The bread affirms, it's coming. The fruit says, I've already harvested. The flowers murmur, it's clean, it's ready. And together, they create a field where the invisible manifests more clearly. The house feels it, you feel it, the field responds, and it all begins with the decision to set the table. We now come to the fourth object, and perhaps this is the most surprising of all, because it doesn't look like abundance, but it protects the door through which it enters. I'm talking about pepper, yes, black pepper, small, discreet, but full of presence. It carries a unique vibration, a frequency of vitality and energetic protection. Pepper is contained. Fire. It doesn't burn what is sacred. It burns what tries to enter without permission. Its vibration is active. It is alert. It is firm. When you place pepper on your table, with awareness, the field understands. Here, no noise enters. Here, there is no room for interference. Here, the vibration is protected. Did you know that pepper has been used for centuries to ward off envy, discouragement, and emotional imbalance? But what few realize is that it doesn't just ward off externals. It burns what is inside you and no longer belongs to you. Fears that block, doubts disguised as caution, anxiety that blocks the flow. All of this begins to be purified when the energy of pepper is present. And more than that, pepper vibrates courage. Pepper awakens action. It activates your inner fire. It says, you no longer need to fear what is coming. You are ready to sustain what you have asked for. Feel this. Visualize your table now with the bread, the fruit, the flowers, and next to it a small container with black peppercorns. Simple, minimalist, but charged with presence. It doesn't need to attract attention. It already vibrates. It already protects. It already affirms. Your table begins to transform into a vibrational shield, a field that not only emits, but also selects what enters. And that changes everything, because it's not enough to attract. You have to know how to maintain. And pepper helps you with that. Now, the last element, perhaps the most invisible, but also the most powerful. The fifth object, salt. Yes, salt. That mineral so common, so banal, so present. But energetically, it is one of the greatest purification codes ever given to humanity. Salt cleanses, salt anchors, salt silences noise, and when placed on the table with awareness, it transforms the space into a stable field. There is no excess, there is no chaos, there is no vibrational contamination. Salt maintains the frequency. It absorbs what needs to be dissolved and stabilizes what needs to remain. You may have heard, put salt in the corners of the house, but few know that salt on the table is even more powerful because it protects the place where your energy is most intense, where you eat, where you speak, where you open up. And if this place is vulnerable, everything else becomes destabilized. The salt on the table vibrates a clear message. Here the frequency is sacred. Here there is no room for vibrational disorder. And the field understands. Imagine a small clay bowl. Inside clean, white, coarse salt. Next to the bread, the fruit, the flowers, the pepper. 5 elements, 5 codes. And now, a single field. Your table is no longer a piece of furniture. It has become an altar. It vibrates trust, harvest, beauty, protection, and purification. And what happens when the vibration of your home realigns with the vibration of what you desire? The universe responds not with magic, but with synchronicity, with opportunities, with lightness, with clarity. Everything that seemed blocked begins to flow. And you realize that the change didn't begin outside. It began with the simple gesture of setting your table as if you were already experiencing what you asked for. You're no longer asking urgently, you're sustaining it coherently. And that changes everything. Now, I invite you to take a deep breath, close your eyes, see your table, see the 5 objects, feel their presence, feel the field around you, feel the response, because it has already begun. Are you lighter, more present, more at peace? It's the signal. The frequency has changed, and you are ready to remain where you asked to be. And if you wish to deepen this frequency, There is a guide that shows you, step by step, how to keep this vibration alive even on unstable days. A vibrational manual that activates the field, anchors your new reality, and leads you through a silent but decisive transition. It was created for those who already feel that reality is changing, but want to remain where they asked to be. If this resonates with you, then the next step is already waiting for you. It's called vibrational permanence, and the link is below if your field feels the call. Oh, and if you haven't seen the previous video yet, be sure to watch it. In it, I show you another sacred place in your home where salt, when placed consciously, transforms into a direct channel of financial response. This specific point activates a powerful frequency of manifestation. It's as if you're saying to the field, I am ready to receive soon to sustain what I asked for. Watch now and connect the two insights, because together they create a complete field of activation within your home. The universe has already begun to respond. Now it just needs your permanence. Now comment below. I have set my table for abundance. I honor the space that holds my new reality. I am the vibration. The universe already recognizes your table is vibrating. The field is listening, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Abundance is no longer a promise. It has already begun.